Howdy, y'all. It has been a minute since I did some video. I have been down with COVID, flu, or something, right? It was pretty gnarly. Backing at it, just added something new to the arsenal. A DSCR, property cash flow, qualifying second equity loan. And this is a little wild. It's like, well, so Morgan, DSCR is already high and second mortgages are high too. When you combine those, what is this? It's like, yeah, rate's gonna be gnarly, but it can make a lot of sense. So a lot of folks, especially in Sevierville in the Smoky Mountains, their cabins are financed primarily around 3.5 range on 30 years. They took advantage of that 2020, 2021 financing. And then if you got your property in that 2020, like that early 2020 window, up through the end of the year, your property value exploded in 21 and 22. So there's a lot of equity there to take advantage of. Right now, the DSCR options, they're all going to be north of 8, right? With some buy down, I guess it's theoretically possible that you could find a property cash flow refinance in the 7s. I think it'd be difficult. So if you've got this significant amount of financing that's at this very solid rate as compared to now, it doesn't make any sense to throw that into the trash can if you don't have to. I think a ton less money. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot less money, lending less money, but I just want what makes sense. So if you do, let's say you got 300,000 on your first mortgage, and then you do a second mortgage at 3.5%. And then your second is probably gonna be somewhere, it's gonna be north of 12, might be a little north of 13. It could be tough. But the blended rate, when you compare the interest rate of those two combined, will be somewhere between a 6 and a 7, as compared to DSCR, which is going to be low 8s at best in most cases, unless you're buying down the rate substantially. So you're going to get better cash flow. These are 30-year equity loans that I've got. And also, there's a huge advantage from that. It has abbreviated expenses. You're not paying full bore title charges when you're doing a second loan. And also the program's pretty thin on origination fees as well. Also, it doesn't lock you into, you don't have to do like heavy prepayment penalties. There is a little bit of bonus for doing up to a 2-year prepayment penalty, as opposed to a lot of DSCR where they're going to try to ask you to do prepayment as much as 5 years on it. Finally, really big one here, if you did a refinance, in order to get your cash flow back in line when things improved, you would have to either refinance the entire mortgage, which you could do anyway, or when things correct, if that's where we get to, or you'd have to pay it down in chunks and do a recast. In this instance, if you take out a second, you can just pay the second off. It's the difference between, and once you pay that second off, you're back to your original terms on the first. So this is not a HELOC. I know it's been a difficult time getting investment property HELOCs. I've tried calling a couple of credit unions out there. It's been kind of a sticky web, but what I didn't have up until now was something for experienced investors who know the value of being able to qualify off property cash flow as opposed to sending in the herd of documentation for a full documentation refinance. And also those that see value in having a lower blended interest rate between the two options. I love that I got this. You know, are there a ton of scenarios where it makes sense? I think in the Smokies there's going to be quite a few folks out there that can take advantage of this. It's certainly not something for everyone. It's a little corner case, but honestly, if you're watching this video, you're probably pretty savvy anyway. You might have one of these properties. So really appreciate y'all and be blessed.